Okay, so goal setting. Coach Landry said it's staying with the plan. It's having a plan, deciding how you do it, and then sticking with it. And I find in a lot of work that I do with teams on goal setting is that there's not a lot of follow-through. And that is the problem. So I would ask all of you in the goal setting that you do with your athletes, do you truly follow through? Do you revisit the goals partway through the season? Do you check in at the end of the season and see whether they met the goals? Do you give them some tools and things if the goals are too high? A lot of kids are unrealistic. They kind of don't know what they can do or can't do. So they set the goals either too close and they achieve them all, they're so easy, or they set them way out there and then it's not realistic. So can we help them with that as adults? Goals are all about changing behavior. And do you think that improving performance requires a maximal effort, smarter effort, or a different approach? And it's a trick question because the answer is at some point, all of these. All of these. And we want all of these in your athlete's tool bag that they can pull out to use when it's appropriate for them, when they feel like they need it. Or maybe you feel like they need to do that. Okay, so first in goal setting, where do you want to go? What's the result? How do I get there? Action plan. You've all seen this, the goal setting steps. Any carpenters in here? Anybody who's done construction? Like me, one of my graduate jobs. Ever built a staircase? Okay, so we have to teach them about rise and run because they don't know what rise and run is. So rise and run, if you're building a staircase, this is the rise and this is the run of a step. And it's very important because you get these measurements wrong. You ever? Yeah, I did that as a young carpenter. I mean, it screws up, waste wood, screw up the entire staircase, doesn't work. So I want you to think about this is each little plateau is a goal. So let's say I'm working with Jeannie and we're going to take 5 minutes off her half marathon time, which she'd really like. Well, we're going to have some goal times, but then we're going to develop an action plan how to hit each one of them in her training. And again, as a coach, you obviously adapt that to your own sport and how that works. What I want you to see is that there's probably 36 of these kind of things all over the internet of different, there's staircases and there's step ladders and there's all sorts of different shapes. But the idea is the same. You have to have something you're shooting for, some sort of outcome, and then some way to get a plan. So we find these very useful for sitting down with athletes and breaking these down. I also asked too, I think a lot of athletes are good at setting these goals that are way out there. And I'm going to ask them frequently, what are you going to do in today's practice to take one step closer to achieving that goal? And I think that's a great question as a coach. What are you going to do today in practice? Because that's what I want to see. I know you wrote those goals down back in October, right? What are you going to do today? Did you see that, Coach? I don't know. Well, then you need to revisit your goals. If you don't know, because that's part of the action plan. That's how we reach what we want to reach. Okay. Another tool we use is using SMART goals. I'll fill all these in for you so you can see them if you write them down. We know that if you use this acronym, it helps athletes focus their energy in a way that they can be the most efficient in achieving their goals. So first is specific. Is the goal specific enough? Oh, I want to lose weight. Well, I need to be more specific. Why? What for? How much? Measurable, attainable. I want to do this within 2 weeks. I want to improve my serving percentage by 15% in 2 weeks. It's probably not going to happen. It's not realistic. Maybe by the end of the season, coach knowing my level and where I am, he might say that's realistic, but not 2 weeks. So sometimes we have to help our athletes with their goals. I also like this idea of are the goals tied to, again, it comes back to the measurable idea, some sort of outcome that we can see, a behavior. Because it might be, well, my attitude, has your attitude really changed? Because I'm not seeing it. I don't see a smile on your face in every practice. Because that's what I asked them. That was the goal, you said. You'd enjoy it. Well, how do I know you're enjoying it? If I can't see you be passionate, enjoying it, enjoying your teammate. And then, of course, time bound or timing. again, if you want more information on this, there's tons of this on the internet. If you looked up SMART goals and quotes on Google, you get over 1 million hits. This is all over, tons of places. You probably get it specific for your sport. Someone else has already written the tools, the rubric for you. Okay. Examples here, average 5 rebounds a game by the end of the season. Well, here's what you have to do to achieve that. Just some ideas. Any more examples of that? I think it's so straightforward with goal setting stuff. I want to move on to the good stuff.